Shalom, 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 shalom. As always, first I want to give all the praises and the glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kodash. Yahweh is the Most High's name. Yahweh Shai is the Son's name. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone, our elders and our teachers in this truth, and who are leading this spiritual warfare, this truth that we are teaching in truth and spirit and sincerity. Shalom to my fellow Hebrew Israelites who have been edified by the truth of the scriptures of who we are, the true children of Yasharallah, and who the other nations are. Shalom, 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 family. So today is Tuesday, 30th of May, 2023. Tuesday, the 30th of May, 2023. Who praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai to give us another day. Lord willing, we make it. So, de-dollarisation. He that oppresses the poor to increase his riches. That's from the book of Proverbs. That's Proverbs 22 and 16. He that oppresses the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. Proverbs chapter 22 verse 16. So, I'm going to read a little bit of this news article, and then I'm going to play you a short news clip video. It says more and more countries from Brazil to South Asia, to Southeast Asia nations are calling for trade to be carried out in other currencies besides the US dollar. Now, to understand what's going on with the US deficit, whether the US is going to default on their deficit, to understand what's going on there, what you must understand is that if they do increase the US deficit by another $2 trillion, which is what they are speaking about, all that means is that America is going to print $2 trillion. The Federal Reserve Bank is going to print $2 trillion and loan it to the American government. So they're going to create money out of thin air. Just so you understand what's going on. When they speak about the US deficit and that they're looking to increase it, I think they said by $2 trillion for 2 years, that they've come to some sort of agreement. If they do sign off on that, if Congress and the Senate sign off on that, all that means is that the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States of America is going to print another $2 trillion out of thin air and loan it to the American government. So this is why you see this. The bigger the deficit, the more countries are moving away from the US dollar. It says, to be clear, the US dollar remains dominant in global forex reserves. That's foreign exchange reserves, what central banks hold for international trading. It says, the US dollar remains dominant in global forex reserves, even though its share in central banks' foreign exchange reserves has dropped from more than 70% in 1999, IMF data shows. Geopolitical risk and economic dynamics have accelerated the trend to move away from the US dollar. That is what you must understand. The bigger the US deficit, the more money they borrow, the more countries are going to want to move away from it. Because as we've always said, at some point, the US dollar will collapse. They will move off from the physical dollar to the digital dollar. And they will create a new dollar in the form of a digital currency. All right? Because there's only so much money you can print before it's not worth nothing, as we should know by now. It says calls to move away from relying on the US dollar for trade are growing. More and more countries from Brazil to Southeast Asia nations are calling for trade to be carried out in their own currencies beside the US dollar. The US dollar has been king in the global trade for decades. Well, the Lord is coming to take this king down, boy. Not just because the US is the world's largest economy, but also because oil, a key commodity needed by all economies, big and small, is priced in the greenback, because we still see oil and major commodities is still priced in the US dollar. Most commodities are also priced and traded in US dollars. It says, but since the Federal Reserve embarked on a journey of aggressive rate hikes to fight domestic inflation, many central banks around the world have raised interest rates to stem capital outflows and a sharp depreciation of their own currencies. It says, by diversifying their holding reserves into a more multi-currency sort of portfolio, perhaps they can reduce that pressure on the external sectors, said Cedric Shihab from Fitch Solutions. To be clear, the US dollar remains dominant in global forex reserves, even though its share in central banks' foreign exchange reserves has dropped from more than 70%. The US dollar accounts for 58% of global foreign exchange reserves in the fourth quarter of last year, according to the data from the IMF. Currency composition of foreign exchange reserves. Comparatively, the euro is a distant second, accounting for 20% of global forex reserves, which means foreign exchange reserves, which central banks keep to do their international trades on. They keep a certain amount of foreign exchange, foreign reserves, foreign currencies to buy and sell goods on the international market. It says 20% of global forex reserves, right? So it says France is second, and Chinese accounts for just 2% in the same period. And I think Chinese has quadrupled since this. This was taken in the fourth quarter of 2022. And I believe in the last 6 months, the Chinese percentage in the foreign exchange reserves has quadrupled. So, as you can see here, China is one of the most active players in this push, given its dominant position in global trade right now and as the world's second largest economy. And that's why it's got so much clout. So it says, based on CBNC's calculations of IMF data on 2022 direction of the trade, mainland China was the largest trading partner to 61 countries when combining both imports and exports. In comparison, the US was the largest trading partner to 30 countries. So you see, China is the largest trading partner in 61 countries, double the amount of the US. The US was the largest trading partner to 30 countries. As China's economic might continues to rise, that means that it will exert more influence in global financial institutions and trade, etc., etc. So, as you can see, as it says here, based on CBC's calculations of IMF data on 2022 direction of trade, mainland China was the largest trading partner to 61 countries when combining both imports and exports. In comparison, the US was the largest trading partner to 30 countries. So China's power is twice, because it has twice the amount of trading partners as what the US have in terms of what it trades, the amount of money and goods it trades and commodities it trades with these countries. So I'm just going to play you a short news thing just to give you a little bit more insight. And then we're going to bring out some scriptures. All right.
Of choice when different nations want to.
Let me bring this back a bit.
Well, the U.S. dollar has typically been the currency of choice when different nations want to trade with each other.
But some countries have been shifting away from tying their currency to our dollar. Last month, Argentina announced that they would start paying for imports using the Chinese yuan due to their shortage of dollars. And Brazil followed suit, announcing that it will allow companies to trade in yuan as well.
Here with more on the currency shift is Carla Mosey. She is a senior markets reporter for Insider. Carla, welcome. Is there any reason to believe the yuan could actually overtake the U.S. dollar at this point?
Well, there's been a lot of, thank you for having me. There has been a lot of talk recently about de-dollarisation, the yuan overtaking king dollar in foreign reserves, global trade. And China has been able to increasingly use its yuan to purchase and buy and sell goods, but it still probably has a little bit of ways to go.
The chip war is a fight to control the future. The US wants to deny China the upper hand, but Washington is losing ground to Beijing in another battleground. That's currency. Countries across the world are ditching the US dollar. Tonight, we want to tell you about how it's playing out in West Asia. Iraq has become the latest country to dump the US dollar. Iraqis are now banned from dealing in the greenback. The announcement was made last week. Iraq's Interior Ministry issued a statement. It was a message for all citizens of Iraq. Listen to this. The dinar is the national currency in Iraq. Your commitment to transact in it instead of foreign currencies boosts the country's sovereignty and economy. So currency has now become a matter of nationalism. But why were Iraqis relying on the dollar in the first place? So Iraq's shift away from the dollar is out of necessity. It also shows how America controls the country 20 years after the invasion. It can cause economic havoc just by limiting the flow of dollars. Iraq's neighbors are watching all of this and exploring alternatives for themselves. In other words, they're all exploring de-dollarisation. Last year, Saudi Arabia made an announcement. It would sell oil using different currencies, like the euro and the Chinese yuan. Earlier this year, the UAE began talks with India to settle non-oil bills in Indian rupees. Since 2021, the UAE has been part of a pilot project too, a project run by the Swiss Bank for International Settlements. This is about making cross-border payments. It may allow nations to bypass the US dollar. Thailand and China are also part of this project. Long story short, every country worth its salt is looking for alternatives, and the writing is on the wall for the US dollar. It is losing ground.
Say no more. The writing is on the wall for Babylon the Great, period. But the US dollar is, in a sense, the foundation of Babylon the Great. Once the foundation starts to shake and move, and is out of place, then the structure will fall down. And that's what you see happening. You're seeing the foundation, which is the US dollar, it's starting to shake, it's starting to weaken heavily, and it's going to cause the whole structure to collapse, which will be Babylon the Great itself, the United States of America. So let's just bring out a few. Let's bring out a few precepts. Let's go to where Proverbs 22. A few precepts on this. Proverbs 22. Let's see where he was. Salaki. This verse. Here. Proverbs 22, verse 16. This is where today's edification comes from. He that oppresses the poor to increase his riches, which is America, Babylon the Great, right? And he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. It shall surely come to want. The United States of America. As I said, we can see this totally unfolding in front of our eyes, what's going on. Because I know, a lot of our people say, well, we hear this news all the time, so it kind of, so not Proverbs, Psalms 94. Like I say, all these things are happening at the same time. So, some of our people who are kind of still in this state of mind. Psalms 94 and 3. Lord, which is Yahweh, how long shall the wicked triumph? How long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? How long? Not long. Not long. They break in pieces thy people, O Yahweh, and afflict thine heritage. They slay the widow and the stranger, and murder the fatherless. Yet they say, the Lord Yahweh shall not see, neither shall the power of Jacob regard it. Well, the power of Jacob is the one that's making all of the moves. But yes, the people do say that. The wicked do say that. They say the power of Jacob, the God of Jacob, the Elohim of Jacob, does not regard it. This is what they think. But the Lord is getting ready to bring that place down. See, no plans can outdo the Lord's plans. Or no plan is more perfect than the Most High's plans. Okay. First Peter's chapter 4, verse 7. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. I say again, for the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. All praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Truly, one second. Isaiah 55 is what I want. Isaiah 55 verse 1. The free offer of mercy. This is what we're giving you, right? The Lord said, we've received the word freely. We're going to give it to you freely. It's all about mercy. It's all about salvation. Every man is responsible for his own salvation. We got the word freely. We received it freely from the Lord. We're going to give it to you freely. Isaiah 55 and 1. Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and he that has no money, come ye, buy and eat. Yea, come, buy wine and milk without money and without price. What is that wine and milk? This is this word, this truth, the prophecies of the Bible that we continue to prophesy and to teach and to show you. This is the wine, this is the milk, this is the honey. Wherefore do you spend money for that which is not bread, and you labor for that which satisfies not? Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness. Incline your ear, come unto me, hear, and your soul shall live. And I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David, because every man is responsible for his own salvation. So all we can do is continue to preach this word, continue to be those watchmen that the Lord says, that we are those watchmen to filter what we see in the mainstream media, mainstream society, in the secular world, and filter that through the Bible. Everything that we do, we've got to bring it through the Bible. We can't talk of our own heart. We've got to show you in the scriptures. Habakkuk. You know where I'm going to go in it? Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6. Habakkuk 2, verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, all of these nations, and say, woe unto him that increases that which is not his? That's what he does. And how does he increase it? With this printing of this money. That's part of how he increases what's not his. He does that by the printing of his money. The other part is where he just goes and steals another nation's resources, wealth, minerals, to build up their society, to build up Babylon the Great. Woe unto him, to Babylon, to America, talking about the Edomites, because Esau Edom is the man that controls Babylon the Great, America. Woe unto him that increases that which is not his. And he does it two ways. He does it through his financial system, his banking system, and he does it through his military. His military to go and invade your land, to steal your minerals and your resources, to subdue your leaders, to create disunity amongst your people. So he can steal your wealth. And the other way is through his financial system, through his banking systems. How long? How long? Unto him that lathers himself with thick clay. Thick clay, as we all know, but we just do it for edification's sake. It's talking about heavy debt. Heavy, see, weight of pledges, heavy debts. Woe unto him. Woe unto who? Woe unto America. Woe unto Esau. Because all of Esau's system is based on credit, heavy debts. This is why these other countries, these South Asian countries, these Middle Eastern countries, these African countries, countries in Far Asia, China, even these fellow Edomites in Russia, they're all looking to de-dollarization. All looking to de-dollarization to separate themselves from the US dollar. Heavy debts, weight of pledges, woe unto him that ladders himself with heavy debts, weight of pledges. That's what the debt ceiling is. It's a weight of pledges. It's a heavy debt that they continue to promise that they'll pay, but all it ever does, it goes up and up and up and up. Hence why we're seeing a massive push to this de-dollarization. It's another precept I'm thinking of. Not Isaiah. Hold on. Job. It's Job 20. So this is what you see here. This is the heavy debt. Pledging of goods, hence load of debt, which one has contracted. Meaning, the meaning taken is that of accumulation of pledges. That's what America does. It prints its money. It says, yeah, we pledged to that we're going to pay back this debt. You can't pay it back. And plus it's a debt that's created out of thin air. It's a money that's created out of thin air. Job chapter 20, I believe I want. Vomit it up, vomit it up, vomit it up. Job 20, what's happening? Keep moving. Yeah, Job 20 and 15. He has swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. So all of the actual real wealth that this man has stolen, like I say, your minerals, your resources, your gold, your silver. Remember, gold and silver are minerals. They come out of the ground. Platinum, diamonds, they're all minerals coming out of the ground. Your resources, your oil, your water, all of these things, this man has stolen. He has swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. And I mean, this is directly to you. Think about it. This is talking about where does this whole thing go through? It goes through the banks, the banking system. The banks are the real boys in charge. They're the real men in charge down here. And when I say that, they're the men that the Lord has put in charge of these nations. Those are Esau's bankers. It says, the Most High shall cast them out of his belly. He shall suck the poison of ass, the viper's tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the bloods, the brooks of the honey and the butter. That which he labored for shall he restore. He's going to restore everything that he's labored for. He's going to restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be. This is the real restitution. What they call it? Reparation. This is the true reparation that's going to come in the kingdom when the Lord takes this man down, because he's going to strip him bare naked of all of his riches. Everything that he's accumulated, he's going to restore. The true reparations are going to come in the kingdom of heaven when we have the power to take what this man took from us. According to his substance shall the restitution be, shall the reparations be. Forget about this voting and marching and asking them for reparations of their greenback printed of no value dollars or pounds or euros. The true reparations are going to come in true wealth. His land, his property, and his gold, his diamond, his silver, and his labor. He's going to have to come and work for you. He's going to be your captive. You're no longer going to be his captive. He's going to have to abide to your rules in your kingdom that you're going to be a part of. Lord willing, we make it, as the Bible calls it, the kingdom of heaven coming to earth. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. It's going to be a very sad day for Esau in particular, and the other nations that played a part in our downfall, our destruction. Because he has oppressed, as we all know, and has forsaken the poor. That's standard. That's like his that's the standard handbook for the Edomite, to oppress and to forsake the poor. That's probably the first line in his handbook. Because he has violently taken away an house which he builded not. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly, he shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left, therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits. Gonna be just when he thinks he's hit the jackpot. Every hand of the wicked, that's not talking about the wicked Esau, that's talking about the laborer. And we have those laborers as well, because we are laboring in this truth, right? So every hand of the laborer, those that this man has oppressed and stolen from, shall come up upon him. So we are looked upon as those laborers, because we are laboring in this truth, right? We are what does the Lord say? The laborers are few. Lord, let me just show you. We are those laborers as well. So the labor. I think it's in Matthews. I spelled it right, but I spelled it wrong. Hold on. Yeah, too many letters. The laborers. Here it is. Matthews 9:37. Then says he unto the disciples, Yahushai, the harvest truly is plenteous. The harvest is the people, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore that the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into the harvest. We are those laborers. We are laboring in this truth. So when we see here, when it says every hand of the wicked, this is not talking about the wicked, just to show you. It says, sorry, where is it? Laborer, workman, see, sufferer. We have suffered under this man. We are the laborer, sufferer. We have suffered under this man. Every hand of the laborer, we are those laborers as well. Because we are laboring in this truth, right? As you can quite clearly see. Right? One second. We're going to finish it here anyway. So every hand of the laborer, the wicked, shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. And part of that wrath is the destruction, as you know. He shall flee from the iron weapon, the ICBM, and the bow of steel, intercontinental ballistic missile, shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, out of the silo, yea, the glittering sword, the nuclear missile, cometh out of his goal, terrors are upon him. So that's the end result. But before that, the Lord is gonna bring his economy down. He's gonna collapse the foundation of this man's strength, which is gonna play a part in what's gonna cause him to go into this World War III. Because the Lord is going to use the other nations to collapse this man's foundation, his wealth. And part of that is the de-dollarisation. And this is where we speak about all the time when the CBDC comes into play. You know, which ain't going to last very long. But that's going to have to come into play when the actual dollar itself, the physical dollar, falls to one side. Digital dollar will take its place. which will eventually lead us to the mark of the beast, which will eventually lead us to the war of Armageddon. All right, so I'm going to finish it there. I just really want to bring that little bit up today. De-dollarisation, bit of news again, and as we always do, to bring the scriptures out to make you see that all of this is part of the Lord's plan. He's getting ready to take this man down, but he has to, just like it tells you in Revelations 13, and the bear in Revelations 13, where it says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. This is talking about the European Union, right? The Roman Empire, and his feet was the feet of a bear. That's the Russians. He's going to be taking him down from his feet, the bear. That's the foundation of this man. The Russians are going to play a part in taking this foundation down. How do you take a man down? Grab him by his feet, bottom of his legs, his feet, and you pull him, and he goes to the ground. That's what the bear's going to do. And his mouth is as the mouth of a lion. That's the United Kingdom. And the dragon, the Roman Empire. The EU is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire. America is the head of it. And the dragon gave him his power. America's the head of that dragon. Gave the beast his power and his seat and great authority. So the Lord is getting ready to take this whole show down. So we just got to bear with it a little bit more patience, yeah? So shalom, shalom, shalom. As always, kal halal, Yahweh, Basham, Hawshah, Basham, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone, our teachers and our leaders in the spiritual warfare. Shalom to my fellow-minded, like-minded Hebrew Israelite brothers who are laboring in this harvest. In the name of Yahweh, Bashim, Hawshah. And to the hopeful elect brothers and sisters who have been edified by today's edification, he that oppresses the poor to increase his riches. De-dollarisation is truly happening. So we just got to keep a pace on what's going on. Well, praise and glory to Yahweh. Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises, family.